Hey, welcome to the Dean Korp podcast. I'm Korp.
I'm Dean.
And Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Oh, yeah. We're a little behind, aren't we?
Yes, we are. I mean,
First 2021 podcast.
Yeah.
Lots happened.
Yeah.
You remember that time all those people stormed the Capitol building?
Wow. I mean, I woke up and I was like, what is happening?
I thought it was a joke. When I saw the article like get pinged on my phone, I like looked at it really quick. I was at work. I like looked at it and then I just put it in my pocket. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it was
unbelievable.
Yeah, I heard Trump got banned from Spotify.
Yeah, you got kicked off of all of social media. That's a whole thing in its own.
Yeah.
What do you feel? Okay, so I don't particularly know what to say about. I think Trump probably deserved to get all of his social media banned. Like, yes, like
it's hard because he is the leader.
But what precedent does that? So the question I really want to beg is, what precedent does it set for the power of
the government needs to make their own Twitter
of tech? You know, like tech has a lot of power.
Yeah, I mean, the government's got to have something that can be. It's all going to be. It's media. It's media.
So the media has the power to.
They've always had the power. That's supposed to be they're supposed to be the one shining the light on any corrupt or anything like that.
Yeah, but like, where does freedom of speech fall into this? You know what I mean? Like, where does freedom of, like, I get that it incites. So like, if it's inciting violence, like, you can't go into a movie theater and scream fire. Right. You know, like, you can't do that. So like, I think that is pretty much into the equivalent of like, you can't go onto Twitter and like
tweet fire.
Into the whole theater, there's a fire going on in this movie theater, and then everyone just I don't think you could, but you could probably, and not see any freedom of speech ramifications or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like,
obviously, the county and the physical theater that you're in, where that is,
they might be able to do something, but like, where does freedom of speech fall with social media now? Because we're just setting some really interesting precedents. I think we're going to see a lot of this legislation happen in like the next 10 to 15 years of our life, where they really start hammering on it. But
downturn of social media?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think people are going to get away from it.
No, I don't think. I don't know. I mean, no, I don't know if it's ever going to be as bad as it was on that Netflix original series where they did that little like futuristic world.
Oh, Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Well, like, but then have you seen the latest documentary on like the Social Dilemma? Have you seen that documentary? I might have told you.
I think I started watching it, and then me and Brian ended up watching one of our shows.
It's its own version of Black Mirror. We're in our own version of Black Mirror. When you think about it, like, the thing that was supposed to help give us the most information has become the most corrupt form of information giving. Right? Like, that's when you say it like that, it's a Black Mirror.
Yeah, but our information has always been corrupt, and that's where people aren't realizing it. It's the sources we're getting it from.
Right.
The winners of the war are telling the story. Like,
but this particular thing was supposed to be. And I agree with that too. But like, this particular thing was supposed to be free of that. It was supposed to be free of bias. And then they figured out a way to turn it. Now, I don't know I hope everybody, you know, I got to imagine if we're smart enough to see it, and I don't think we're that smart, you know, we were like common sense people, but like, I would hope that scholars and like politicians and like low-level politicians and people around the country, because there's got to be people who are trying to affect good influence, right?
Oh, yeah.
The thing we see is a puppet show. You know, the whole federal media and international and like national media, that's all like a puppet show. Really, what affects us is at a local governed level and like at a state level mostly, you know. And I just hope that somebody smart is trying to like figure out legislation towards this, you know, figure out some way to curb like the coming tide, because like that's a precursor to like what happened in the Congress is like a precursor to the Civil War.
Yeah.
Right. Like
it's like makes me want to be more part of the like town meetings.
Yeah.
Or like the city, whatever. Let's go see the city council speak on these matters.
Like what can we hear? What can we help affect change? Like, what do we like if this is going to take a thing? What I'm starting to wonder in myself is like, if this is going to take being annoying to my friends and getting people to speak up, not politically, but just speak up for their own opinions, but in a setting that's proper. Like, how do we get back to the proper way of of voicing our opinions instead of going on Twitter, getting in an echo chamber, you know, like, and the echo chamber thing was new to me. It's like, you know, you say an idea and all of your followers and everybody on YouTube and all of your friends and everyone's conservative, and you say a conservative idea and they all agree with you because they're conservative. Like, of course you're going to think you're right. Everybody you know is affirming that you're right. That's an echo chamber.
Well, one thing that it goes back to is you can make money.
Yeah.
All of these
Right.
things, and so if I say one thing and people like it or hate it, but they're reading my thing, they're viewing whatever it is, and they're constantly viewing it because they hate me, but they're viewing it. And they're talking. Guess what they're doing? They're seeing my ads every time they come back to talk smack.
Yeah,
and those ads, they get paid. So why would I stop having that point of view? Just when now it's making me money. It's it's like my how I pay my bills,
right?
And so I'm gonna keep stirring the pot.
Because you're a controversial content creator, and all you do is stir the pot. But like what the real life ramifications of that is that people listen to you and people believe you, and then people start like I wish more people who understood the power of what they have, like Joe Rogan, and I'll always go back to Joe Rogan. Like I really do look up to him, not like maybe as an individual, but as a platform for what he represents, like the conscious push for conscious thought, being objective and rational, and not being married to your fucking ideas. You know what I mean? Like things can change. Yeah, things can change. Like you have to be willing to go like things will change. Yes, you have to be willing to say, damn, that was like a bad idea. Fuck, like I'm sorry. Let me move on to the next idea, and I'm gonna just leave that in the past. That's not me anymore. I'm leaving it. But people get so married to the fact that like, you know, that's what they're going to die with. Like they're going to die with this mentality, even though maybe in their heart they know it's wrong, but they've been saying that they're a part of it for 20 years. Like I can't believe how many people said that like the people who rated the Trump or who did the Trump raid of the Senate weren't real Trump supporters. Those people were all fucking Trump supporters. And then even Trump supporters in their own thing tried to say they weren't really like true Trump supporters. True Trump supporters wouldn't do that, but like they did.
But either way, there were like, Americans that stormed the Capitol.
There were Americans. Like an insurrection happened. Like they tried. They stopped a congressional meeting. They they killed 4 people. Died. Like
lives were lost over what?
What?
People getting to sit and write notes and like take a tour.
Yeah, like I don't know. But we're like on this weird thing lately, man. I've been thinking about it so much because, you know, I know there was a podcast 5, 6, 7 weeks ago when we were like, it was just after the first debate or maybe 2 after that. And I had made jokes about like, you know, what's going to happen if Trump loses, there's going to be a battle on the White House front lawn for who, like, he's going to like, there's literally going to be like a straight up battle, like, on the front lawn for him to keep the White House. And like, that's a joke. And it happened in a sense, in one completely real sense, it actually happened. Like he incited.
Would it have ever happened if the president didn't use Twitter?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it would have happened.
I mean, the amount of people you can touch is great, but then like the way we were receiving our information at different jobs I've had, like in logistics, like we were getting our updates on tariffs through Twitter. So everyone had to be dialed into Twitter. Like it forced everybody to go to this.
I don't think I think
if you buy a bunch of stock in Twitter and then use it a lot and make it stock go, and now you're rich.
I don't know. Did Twitter make money? I mean, Twitter had to have made money off of Trump. Like, absolutely.
It's the number 1 now, isn't it?
Right. Like,
it was already getting close to it, and now it's got to be.
Well, because people like the platform. Because
you have to be on it because the president's on it now.
Right.
Like, they just like everybody that wasn't on it.
What a crazy thing. And like, it even got Brittany into Twitter because she's like, well, these were all the politicians are putting their things. And I'm like, I think maybe this is a very conservative thought I'm having right now, because I really think that the president and any heads of state, any officials in our country shouldn't be allowed to voice their unfiltered, undigested, unthought of opinions at a moment's notice via any platform. Yeah. You can't just call up, I woke up this morning, I saw some shit on the news, I'm going to have a press conference. I'm going to go talk to my 100,000 constituents in my county and talk to them directly and tell them I'm pissed off right now about this thing, and then say shit, make a fool of yourself, make people believe less in your cause. Now you can't get as much work done.
But I tell you what, if you set up and I got to watch that happen, and you did a video of you being like that, and you were all worked up about making change or doing X, Y, and Z, and you came back and you said this is the plan, I'd be way more about it if I could see you talking to me than put it on in a message and just be like, oh, I'm on the shitter.
Well, like, and that's I think what I really want to say is that like they should only be doing doctrinated like talks, like things that like where they sat down in the morning, had a meeting. Okay, we got that conference at 5 o'clock. We're going to be on the air. What are we going to say? Let's digest your thoughts and emotions. You have a really good idea. Let's put it into a plan. Let's talk about it. Let's refine that thought. Let's make that idea better. But when you just fly off the handle and say whatever fucking shit you're feeling in that moment, like, I don't care who you are. Like, the thing that I've realized getting older is that people are just fucking people. Like, there's really no one who commands more respect than anyone else in this world. We're all very equal. So, like, people make decisions based on what? Emotion. Always. Everything is emotion. Like, whether you got enough sleep one night can affect it. How you ate your breakfast in the morning. Are you hungry? Are you not hungry? Is your girlfriend screaming at you? Do you have to? Yeah. Do I got to take a shit? Like, what's going on in your life at that moment can full on affect your decision. So when you have a crazy idea, like, I don't know, like a political policy, and you're like, this is exactly how I feel about it in this second, might not be how you feel about it later, but that second you felt that and said that thing and put it out there, and people started to back the idea, and then the idea snowballed and then turned into this whole thing where, like, Trump said they stole the election one time. The Congress got raided 2 months later. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that the idea snowballed. He could have probably presented the idea that maybe we didn't really like, if he didn't tweet that moment when he was mad at fucking 4 a.m, they stole the election from us. Like, if somebody filtered him and said, okay, maybe they did. How do we refine your idea? Okay, let's work on that, Mr. President. Let's build a campaign. Let's sit down, talk about it rationally, and maybe we can actually affect real legislation. But they came out guns blazing. I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue you. Like, that's all impulse, emotion, reaction. Like, and I'm not justifying like that he should have done it, but this is just an example. Like, when you're acting like that, you can't get your true point across, good or bad point. So, like, why can the heads of state and the most powerful people in the country not get the chance to refine their ideas? We need their best. Nobody is at their best on a moment's notice and an emotional whim.
Well, I think it's a lot of factors.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. They shouldn't. The texting is just like it's like online bullying. It's like anything like that. You don't have to be in front of the people that you're facing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to just like spout off
China fucking blah 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 blah. They're stealing the election, blah 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 blah. Like, you
get out of an argument with your wife and you're like trying to blow off some steam.
Yeah, like, fuck my wife, that dumb bitch. She said, yeah, like you don't. Oh, I don't know, like. Yeah, you really like reflecting China as your wife. Like, Melania just yelled at me, I'm going to go put a trade tariff on China. Like, what?
I mean, if there was a chance that this was all above my head and I was like, oh man, they're just like doing stuff like how I haven't seen the end of the movie yet.
Yeah.
Like, I got to see the third act. But no, it's just happening. And it's just people making decisions on emotion.
Yeah, it's just humans. They're just regular fucking humans. And they're sit up there and they really just genuinely believe they're better than all of us because they think they affect the decision. Because they do affect the decisions that affect all of us. They affect law. These are our lawmakers, and they're up here playing around like it's a fucking, Kevin Spacey's House of Cards. Like, they're just fucking around. Like, they're up here like, I got more clout. No, I got more clout. Like, nobody, that's not why we put you there. We didn't put you there to fuck around. Go to your hometown and fuck around. Go work at a restaurant and fuck around with the political powers that be there. Like, if you're that power hungry person, don't do the thing that affects everybody else. Like, we need it. Like, go play sports, go do something like that. Like, I don't know. There's got to be an outlet for fuckers like this. Like, because I don't care that there are people that are power hungry in this world. I just care that the power hungry people are not, like, the whole point of the democracy. The thing that we did here is to give us all an equal say. But right now we're like literally dealing with a new monarchy, like a new political families, like the Bidens, the Obamas, the Clintons, like the Jerry Kushner, like marrying like a political New York family married into another political New York family whose parent became the president of the United States, giving Jerry Kushner access to political office on the federal scale. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're marrying in to get to these points. And
because they know they played the game.
Yeah,
it's a game to them.
It's literally Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're literally playing Game of Thrones and they're just fucking around. And that's the part where, like, you can see it on the right and you can see it on the left. And there's like everybody's very tense.
My worry is the people that are actually pulling the strings, like the big businesses that are giving their money to the people so they can get what they want, rather than our people in charge making the decisions based on making the right decision,
right,
instead of making a financial decision.
I think if you want to be a politician, you got to live in a shack. You got to be a monk. You got to be.
I don't think you should be a politician for 40 years in a row.
No, that's a huge one.
Like, how can you relate to any of the people by never having any of the other jobs? I've supported the people my whole life. Like, but did you? And we never got an opportunity to see if anyone could do it better.
Yeah, like why wouldn't we? How many millions of Americans are there? There's really smart ones out there.
Most of us don't like change. Yeah, we're forced to do it, and we're like, oh, this is better. The internet is awesome.
Wow, this is so dope. Like, how many people were like, computers are dumb?
CDs are way better than
cassettes.
Like,
and people called them dumb.
Yeah,
people called those things dumb. Like they were done with it. They're like, I can never imagine this being the thing. Tape deck is going to be the standard for all cars.
Nobody likes change until they're forced to do it,
and then they realize, oh fuck, it's a little bit.
How many digital clocks do you see around now?
Right,
like. It's better.
Yeah, it's better. Why get a watch that has, the hand and thing? Fucking stare at it. I like them for look, aesthetic only, but I'll still pull my phone out to read the time.
If I had like a sweet like watch, like a pocket watch, I would constantly be checking it. But I don't do important stuff to have to wear it on my person. Yeah.
I mean, you could always just start doing it and then just pull it out like in the middle of
I would want it to be like part of my suit game, I think.
Yeah. Well, if you have a suit,
I can't be rocking my like a sweatshirt
with the little chain hanging out of the front, like you just a little tiny
most, I guess.
Could always just rock a pocket watch.
But yeah, I mean, like so many things like that like until change happens and forced on you, we're reactive though, we don't change until we're forced to. We're reacting to something that's terrible that has to happen, like our president being banned off. To even like have a conversation instead of being like, what's the worst that's going to happen with Trump being on Twitter? And then it's happening.
Yeah. Like, people in the beginning were like, what's the worst that could happen? The literal worst happened. There was a small insurrection.
I mean, you got to let people fail. And I understand that, but we also know right from wrong.
Yeah.
And like, why can't we help our fellow comrades, our friends
but like, there's so many whys and like I wonders and I wishes. And like, that's the liberal in me. And then the older I get, that conservative, like very real, like this is actually how things are. Like, I always hated that phrase growing up. Like, that's how the real world is. Fuck you. You don't know shit. The world is what you make of it. And this is like, there is that context of like, that's how the American real world is. Like,
let me ask you this. What types of things do you think we could affect if we were in the political landscape? And like, in that sense, like what are they actually able to do if me, you, and all of our people that were on the same page,
we were like what, the city council or something?
City council, okay.
Yeah.
Like, can we really affect a positive change and influence? Like, I think to a certain degree, like you're affecting almost like more closer to the day-to-day life and like the year-to-year life.
I think you're affecting month to month and year to year, but you can't really shoot for the day-to-day effect. But like, I think it starts slow. I don't know. What could we really affect? Like, see, that's where the politics of it all coming together. Because, okay, say there's 10 of us, of our group of friends, and we're all becoming politicians for a city. All 10 of us are friends, but we don't all think alike. We all have very different ideas.
That's what I was saying. Like, maybe it's like I was thinking Parks and Rec. So there's like 6, right?
Right.
5, whatever. It's got to be odd. So that way votes are easy.
But you always need a leader, right?
You have a spokesman. So that one's someone that just is like in situations where there needs to be a discussion and a voice. So
you want like a parliament, more or less.
That sounds like a lot better of an idea. But I'm just saying, but like, so in the times I've seen it, like there's like the speaker of the floor. So like, hey, welcome today, this get everything all right, and they call up, all right, let's talk to the first person. And when it comes to a vote, everyone's vote's equal,
right? And
so like maybe I'm not always the speaker, but like on, they're gonna let me do it for my first term or whatever, whatever. So then I'm speaking. I might have to defer to people on the panel or the other city council to help me answer said question because that's not my expertise.
Right.
This person's on this for this, and then I would do it like that in the sense that like I don't know everything about the construction concrete stuff that Joe over here could talk to you about and answer it right now.
Well, and that's where like lobbying comes in, right? Because that actually happens. Like what the thing you're actually talking about is 100% democracy. Like like a real democracy working, but So the problem with communism, we know all the problems. The problem we're realizing with democracy is that with power, the people's voices don't really get heard. Like it can happen that way. When corporate America met democracy America, corporations and democracy don't work out. We're realizing that democracy works super well. But like capitalism doesn't work super well with democracy because capitalism can easily influence democracy. So like if you have capitalism, it's almost like capitalism works better with totalitarianism. And I know that like I don't like that thought.
Yeah.
And like I don't like how it sounds, but having China is literally like I'm not even saying socially. I don't like any of their social politics. But when you look at them as a machine versus machine, American machine versus Chinese machine, their machine works better and is fueled and oiled better because they have capitalism with a one-party system. And it doesn't even have to be like a king or it's totalitarian.
Every 4 years we take a step back.
Every time
we lose like a year, so they can run into office, and then like the next part of that year, they're trying to figure out their bearings.
Right.
They just moved from a different location to here.
You're talking Joe Biden, no power. He had no political power coming into the most political.
You just moved from Vegas.
Yeah.
And you got here. We'll just say August of 2020. Like, when did you start feeling comfortable? Like
2-3 months ago. You
so
know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
I mean that's just natural.
Yeah.
Same thing for me. Like I moved in August 20. Was it September we moved, and now it's like this is definitely my house now. It's past that point, but like it's one of those things that like it takes some adjusting.
Yeah.
And so like they're going through that as humans, making major decisions, signing or these like tax season and all these things happening. People want money. Give us more money. It's COVID. You said this, and so like okay. So why not have like this easier transition?
Yeah.
And instead of making this process, no matter what you do, you're gonna have this pinnacle point where everyone has to vote, and this is the deadline. You're always gonna have that build up. But you can make the transition so much easier. You can do it in a way that
I think that fundamentally the way that we do the transition of power, when you start to think about it, doesn't really make any sense. Like the White House represents one party of a two-party system for 4 years. And it's a Republican or a Democrat making Republican or Democrat systems. But if we were truly a democracy, the positions held at the highest office, there shouldn't be a president or a vice president. We should elect councils at a time. You know, wouldn't that make more sense to elect a judiciary, like to elect like almost what I want in my head is for politics to work like a jury. You get jury duty, you show up, you're an anonymous juror, you show up for the one trial, you make decisions. Right? It's 9 people, no hung jury. Like they tell you if like it has to be unanimous vote or if it whatever.
Yeah, but then
and there's anonymity.
It's easy to say that, but then when you try to make it a practical way, the corruption part of it is already like so embedded that like there's no way to take corruption out of it. People are going to use those.
Well, but what if every law that gets voted on is?
I think that if we
jury.
did that, okay, we said instead of jury, so you get 2 years, we vote 10 people in.
Yeah,
there are major decision makers.
Yeah,
then we vote for everything at the
Hunger Games style. Oh, they should do it Hunger Games style. All of our politicians should be elected Hunger Games style.
No, because then you get somebody that like Mike Tyson's leading us.
No. What
everybody out?
No. What I mean is not like a physical thing. 25 people randomly selected who all meet a certain level of criteria. Yeah. Maybe it's X amount of money made per year. Maybe it's and all 25. Okay, let's say 30, 10 get elected. They do 3 people who all meet one center of criteria. Like these 3 people are really good at understanding how climate affects the world. These other 3 people are understand. And then of those 3 people, only one gets picked. But they all have to go head to head, like match for the fucking position. Like whatever that head to head is, they have to be the best in whatever that thing was. Yeah. Like, can you prove you're the better scientist? Like, what are scientific challenges? They just fucking hammer scientific challenges at these guys. And then the best one of those 3 gets picked for a 2-year term. And in 3 years, those other 2 dudes can't compete. They already competed once. They're fucking out. So they know they can't come back. Like now you got to go back to regular civilian life. When you're done with your 2 years, you're back to civ. You're like, you can't affect change. Your voice doesn't mean anything anymore. And
you can vote. I think there should be a vote on some level because that's what gives it the people. So like
we vote for who goes into the Hunger Games. You vote for the 3. The 3 get voted in, and it's up to those 3 to win tournament style.
I like that.
And then the Council of 10.
I think is a great idea.
Yeah, like they don't have to fucking kill each other, but there needs to be some sort of massive agreed upon population. Like we're gonna watch these games let's make it. We could even stick with the 4-year model. These 10 guys are going to be here for 4 years. None of them did anything with politics before, and none of them will do anything with politics after.
A great movie,
right? It actually kind of does sound like a good movie.
At least the book.
And then everybody was happy and their opinions were represented. Like, you know what I mean? because like I think the fundamental issue that I think a lot of people are going to start realizing over the next 20, hopefully people realize at least over the next century, we might be dead by the time it really bears fruit, is that our democracy is outdated. It's not a bad democracy. It is good. Democracy is good. I'm fucking hella pro democracy. We're not going
to change it until we're forced to.
Right. But I think we start having conversations like this. You teach Theo. I teach my kids one day. Theo maybe tells somebody, or Theo himself becomes, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what that, you don't know what this fruit will bear. But the fact that these conversations are being had, and as long as nobody takes these conversations away from us, we're free to
5 people on the internet.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Thank you to our couple of listeners, guys.
Yeah, feel free to leave a comment anywhere or a review on any of the.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, give us some feedback so that way we can.
We'd love to hear from you guys. We don't want to pressure you into like, subscribe, or any of that, but whatever. Support's cool. Like, we're gonna do this regardless, but it would be cool to know people fucking are into it.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah.
But I just really think there's a better system for capitalism, or not capitalism, democracy. And capitalism has to be curbed in light of democracy, because money, that the end game capitalism, and even Karl Marx said it, which was fucked up, but he's like, late stage capitalism means all of the rich people own all of the money and none of the poor people do. He called this shit like way before, right? Like communism was made in direct junction of like an opposing force to capitalism. Like he's like, what can we do that's different but could be just as good? Communism has failed in every country it's ever tried in. There's not one successful communist country. Like when you think in terms of like a successful country, until capitalism was introduced in some way. China became successful because they introduced capitalism into their free market. And now they've been able to do what it took us 100 years to do in 40 years. Like they're just sprinting, and we're right next to us right now.
Yeah,
like in the sprint.
I mean, but like I tell you what, the internet just gives everybody a leg up.
Yeah,
it's a different game.
Yeah,
your available information is just like I don't have to go to the library.
No,
I don't have to go anywhere.
Right, and you can just have access to it.
Yeah, like I have like different apps for like, okay, I'm gonna have a long blah blah blah. I can read.
Yeah,
like I'd never have to. The information. Oh, hey, what's the guy's name? Oh, I got it. Like, just give me a second.
Yeah.
How fast can I type his name into the thing and spell it completely wrong?
And it'll fix it for you.
It'll fix it or get it close, and then show me a bunch of pictures of the guy that I think it is. That's the Chris.
That's funny.
Yeah, we watched Wonder Woman the other day.
The 84.
Yeah, did you see it?
Yeah.
I
didn't like it.
It was awful.
Man. Yeah, it was a really bad movie.
I feel bad for the actors in it because I like was it Chris Pine?
Yeah.
And what's the other?
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, she's smoking obviously, but like I like it just like wrecked everything that the DC universe did. Just wrecked it.
I was telling Brittany the whole time we're watching, she's like, I really like this movie. And I was like, you don't know anything about it, so I can't be mad at you.
They stuck true to what they're good at, and that's the flashback sequences. Because they don't know anybody. Brian was like 5 seconds in, she's like, "Oh, we're doing flashbacks again." I forgot.
Yeah, it's DC. It's flashback time. Because at least Brianna knows.
Well, because she's seen all the DC stuff. It's like, oh, it's flashback.
It's just flashback.
You go 5 minutes in, and like flashback, and you're like, wait, what time? What is this?
And then, but when you come, the worst part is coming back from the flashback, and they're in a completely different scene.
My son is lost half the time in these movies.
They're terribly written.
Movies. Like at least with like the Christian Bale movies, he was like able to see Batman. Because I can't take him back any further than that. He's not really going to enjoy it.
He might, dude. He would like.
It would be more. It's more adult and talkative, and I don't.
You think that George Clooney Batman? He can't do that. You could do Batman Forever.
Probably,
dude. Batman Forever is great.
It's just more about accessibility.
Yeah, I got you.
Now that we have the HBO Max, we might be right on there. I know they're getting a lot of
HBO Max is killing it, right?
Well, they got the DC content because they got the DC Universe was an app that is going to just comic books now.
Okay.
So all their content is going to HBO Max.
Wait, so can you get all the comic books if you have HBO Max?
No.
Fuck.
It's the opposite.
Batman Beyond, though. I'm sorry. I don't want to forget the thought. You guys should watch Batman Beyond.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite animated series. Like, okay, DC's fucked up all of their movies. Their animation is incredible.
He's a movie boy, though. So, like, he wants a conclusion.
They want,
1
second, YouTube and Spotify. So he's a DC boy.
Well, no, he's an MCU guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he wants a conclusion. He's a movie boy where he wants to finish he's like, so he watched the episode of The Flash.
Yeah.
And he wants to know what happened to Flash's mom, episode 1. I was like, well, you find out like episode 18 or something like that.
Oh, so he might not have the attention
span. He doesn't want to wait. He's like, I can't wait. Look, what happens? You got to tell me. He can't like, he's like, no, it's like 20 hours from now you find out.
Yeah.
That's only like a flash in the pan of what you really, like when after watching 8 seasons of it or 6 seasons of The Flash, like I know all this, but like,
oh my bad, I'm not even.
It's just not so like him trying to watch a TV show. Like we watched The Rebels the other day.
Yeah.
And then because we're out of Star Wars content and going through it, we're watching it and like 4 minutes are left. It's a 20-minute episode. And he's like, done. He's like, I'm done. I'm going to go play. I'm like, fine. That's whatever. I was like, it's 4 minutes. He's like, I was like, that is probably the best part though.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'll watch. Talking to me. I just wanted to finish the first episode because I want him to get into that. He doesn't cartoons and TV shows aren't his jam. He wants movie night.
That might because he's 4, right? So like I can totally understand.
We're
like,
ahead of the curve. The fact that he's watched 23 movies.
Yeah. He doesn't realize he likes long format yet.
Yeah.
But like he can't get into it being 30-minute segmented. He wants it at 2-hour segments.
Yeah.
Which is I get it.
Even the videos he selects on YouTube when we let him watch YouTube is like he wants the longer one so he doesn't have to keep looking.
Oh my God, that's a beautiful form of laziness.
But like he's not a TV watcher. He's not somebody that wants to like sit around and watch TV all the time. Like when he's at the other kid's house, like one of the boys that he stands with watches a lot of TV. He's like downstairs playing.
What did you mutter there? This other boy he can't stand.
No, this other boy he gets nanny.
Oh, get nanny. I thought you'd like uttered like this other boy he can't stand.
No, I was just trying to figure out how my son's mom nannies and she takes him with him.
Yeah,
her with him, and so I was trying to say trying to make it easy for the crowd.
Yeah. Sorry, I know. I thought you were just like Freudian slipping like this kid that he doesn't even fucking like.
No.
But yeah, dude, that's dope. At least you're getting him into the nerdy stuff early.
Yeah, it's not nerdy anymore though. That's like the great like.
Yeah, you're right.
That I sent you a video about Dave Filoni the other day. I don't know if you saw that on Discord.
No, I didn't.
But it was I'm talking. He's like when Star Wars came out for him, and even for me when I found Star Wars, it wasn't like, oh man, this is great. This is the best of. No, this is Star Wars. This is what we got. You
have access.
You still have sports. You still have to go do. You still have everything. The movies just came out, and it's just like, wow, this is cool. And he's like, then we started getting toys, and I was like, we didn't have action figures like this. This is like, for them, it's like, wow, and now it's like, everything. And for me, growing up, I was like. In that phase of like N64 was the shit, like Ninja Turtles, like all that stuff, like because for me that they were like I can play my Ninja Turtles on the game, I can play my Ninja Turtles here, I can watch them on TV, and they're making movies. Like that was like my window growing up. It was like, oh, okay, that and like wrestling was in a good sweet spot for me because it was on Saturday morning. But I forgot where I was going with that.
You're right. It's not nerdy content anymore. Yeah, it was nerdy because it was what we had access to, and it was a minority.
We got to a point in school where like those things were nerdy, and then like, girls, you wanted to get with girls, those are nerds, and then it was like
your perception. Like if the majority of the people didn't like it, you didn't want to talk about it because you're representing.
I don't know about you, but we used a phrase called "gay."
Gay, yeah,
that was gay.
No, yeah. I mean, like growing up, oh, that shit's gay, bro.
Yeah,
like,
there was not one person that didn't say that phrase in the entire school.
No, gay was the thing.
You couldn't get us to stop saying it.
No.
Couldn't.
Nope.
Like, could you imagine all
crazy too? I went. You're talking elementary and middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to that in California, and you did it in Michigan, and it was the same.
Yeah.
So the whole country was gay. It's gay.
I mean, it took a minute to try and fight through that.
Well, there had to be a whole. When you really think about it, there had to be an entire revolution for somebody's sexuality for people to go.
For me, it was just like sitting back and being like, I probably should be saying that. It sounds. I had like maybe it was like all the media and things that I'm not even like realizing that I saw, or like a movie, or like movements or whatever, but for me, it was like I had to have that moment with myself and be like, well, it's not something I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Maybe it was having a gay friend, having like working in the restaurant and meeting gay people. And that maybe I was just like I was more sensitive to it and understood more about the culture. And
so when because I teeter on a weird part of your argument, I agree. And I also disagree because how do I word this? Whatever. I'll just say how I feel about it. So like, every gay guy I've ever hung out with, flamboyant or non-flamboyant, gay, like, you know, whatever, like masculine or flamboyant rather, have always said that shit's gay. They'll call stuff gay, like right away. And I get it. It's for the same reason black people can say the N-word, right? Like, is this the argument we're going with? Because
that was my first.
That's the first argument, right? Like, so that's the argument that stops my thing. So anything for me saying it and knowing it after that, and I still will. Sometimes there are just things that when you look at it, you're like, that's fucking gay. Like, and I don't mean it that it's like, you know what I mean?
You just reverted back to a figure of speech that you don't know how else to describe.
I don't. Yeah, and I know it's ignorant.
Not trying to be malice and hurt somebody.
No,
you just are for lack of vocabulary.
Yeah, just like fucking.
And like bit of stone right now.
Yeah,
and for like, I'm not gonna try the thought power to put in to think about how to describe this.
Because if I say that's stupid, it doesn't have enough impact, and I won't be. And then anything else I could think of in that moment doesn't have the impact. But you're like, that's gay.
Have you seen on Netflix they dropped that swear words thing with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. I watched a little segment of it.
I mean, it's derpy.
It seemed kind of funny.
It's we watched Fucking Dick.
Yeah,
and, I was like, oh, that's gay. Should be on like the next because it had its own little window.
It did. It really did. And like, I guess there's just like
the fact that you were in California and like everybody I've talked to from different parts, we all said it.
At some point. That's gay was like,
was it on like something to do with Eminem? That was like everybody like the music, the change of music and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of and like boy bands and Eminem, like they're like contrast, but that's all you hear on the radio.
I don't know.
There's a lot. I mean, I know you're closer to like music and stuff in California.
Well, I'm putting myself through a thought right now with the gay thing and why I might say that. And I really, man, if I'm gonna really like touch on the point why like that's gay is still a thing in my vocabulary sometimes, I'm like really. I think that's gay would be my last bastion for like I get that's a word you can take away from us. But then they came after every other word. We can't say it's retarded. Yeah. You can't call it the master bedroom anymore. You can't do this. You can't say that. You can't like they got a little bit, and then they fucking ran. And I'm like, no, you can't take freedom of speech away at this level so rapidly.
Well, I think too when you hear an entire generation of people just saying, "I don't want to do that. That's gay."
Yeah.
It just gets old real fast.
Yeah, probably.
And then those kids start doing it to their parents.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, we gotta cut this. That's gay.
That's gay. But like, I think taking away the ability for people to say words that they feel express themselves properly in the moment that aren't words that are so offensive sounding. Like, I don't really know too many gay guys that when they've heard some guy go, "Oh, that's kind of gay," they were like, "The fuck did you say?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't get like, "Say it again, bitch." Like, say it again. Like, but there's words like, okay, all right, I'll say it. Faggot is a word like that. You shouldn't say that. It sounds hard.
Yeah.
And where its origins are fucking terrible. The origins of the word gay is happy. The origins of the word faggot are horrible. When the English burned gays because they thought they were like witches and demons, right? They would take the bundles of sticks called faggots, that's what they called them, and throw them, and they'd sit there and they'd yell, "Burn, faggot, burn," as the gay guy was burning on the thing under a bundle of sticks. That's fucking horrible. That's a horrible fucking origin for a word.
That is terrible.
That's a terrible origin for a word. I am happy to never say that word again outside of the context of explaining it, right? That I can get down with. That's gay. Doesn't have the bell. It doesn't ring like that. It doesn't ring like how horrible that comes from.
Painted in my head. I'll never even
like you're never every time you hear that word, it's gonna ring.
Not that I say that word, but
no. But like if you hear somebody say it, you're gonna like, oh, like.
Well, it already does that. I've heard it in like work environments.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call anybody.
Yeah.
Somebody you know. And I was just like, whoa,
yeah,
whoa. I was like, I got a bathroom. Getting out of this one.
It's a hard word, dude. And like same thing with the N-word. Same thing with, maybe you can make the argument for like retard.
I think, and like stop halting our comedy and our thought process. We don't want to put restrictions on how we think. And
right.
If it's, if it's going to make a majority of people laugh and we know it's not like out there, but if I'm like, I don't know.
You get, there's such a difference in tone.
Like my son's not allowed to say those words.
Right.
Because he needs to understand that like that's like name calling and that's like picking on people.
Well, you can't cuss till you're older, right? You have to understand what the curse words do. Like what they mean, how to say them in the context. because like think about fuck. It's the most. It's diverse. Fuck the fucking fuckers is a full sentence. Yeah. And all three of those things, it's like noun, verb, adjective. Like you're just rocking it, right?
Yeah.
But like a little kid doesn't understand the caveat of the word. Same thing with like when it's okay to be like that's gay. I don't call things gay on my own when I think something stupid by myself. If I'm with a group of like 6 or 7 people, something derpy happens, and I say that's gay, it's probably going to make all of my friends laugh.
But do you take into account? You're like, oh, is there any gay people?
No. I did it at work the other day. I just found out a gentleman I was working with is gay. I said something like, I was like something happened. I was like, oh, that's gay. And like he laughed. And then he said, that's gay 20 minutes later. Brittany comes up to me and goes, that guy's gay, by the way. And I was like, oh, no shit. Like I just said that's gay in front of him and he laughed. So like, where is it at? You know, where it's so contextual. It's so in the moment. Like if you go up to a gay guy and you grab him by the throat and say, you gay fucking piece of shit, gay ass motherfucker. Like that's a bad way to use gay. Like that's not cool. Like that's really rude and mean. But if something derpy happens, like I'm just saying context matters so fucking much. Like
you're killing our comedy.
Yeah, and comedy is the other half of everything else.
We need to
gotta laugh. Gotta laugh.
You could cry or you can laugh.
I think that's where is like somebody secret dream. I'm gonna share this with the internet, maybe with you. I've always wanted to try stand-up comedy.
Okay.
I just always thought I'd be just maybe okay at it. I've loved comedy. I have a deep appreciation for stand-ups. I've loved stand-up since my dad let me watch like Def Comedy Jams when I was like 6 years old. Like a show I should not have been watching that. And I just have always liked stand-up. So I make a lot of derpy ass jokes. I've always made, jokes that are like on the fringe because I don't mind. I think they're funny. If I think they're funny, I'm going to say it. But like when you start limiting words with like retarded, gay, whatever, the fucking list of things that we're not allowed to say anymore, it's like, where are we going with this? And when does it stop?
Yeah.
When does it stop?
I don't know. At pink ribbons for 4th place and...
Right, everybody's a participation trophy. Like everyone needs to be a winner.
For participating, you got to play.
Yeah, that's the trophy. The trophy was the memory of losing and going, I don't want that to happen again.
I'm gonna go home.
I would like to
everything to get better, so this doesn't ever happen again. Because if I get the trophy, I'm like, okay, well, I got the trophy. Let's go get some ice cream.
Yeah, like
no, you gotta sit and sulk and feel that nastiness you didn't win.
You don't get the double cone with 3 different flavors if you don't win. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like dad doesn't take you, like, I don't know. I didn't grow up as a sports kid, but I understand, like, just through competitive gaming, I always understood that, like, there is a winner and a loser, and the winner gets to go ha-ha at the loser. Now that I look back, that's just bad sportsmanship. You don't have to do that part, but the winner still is the winner. Like there's no, they don't send out money to the 3rd place in like any games, first and second in the tournament, make it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's hard I mean, Theo's going to have it hard because she's not going to win a lot. Because I like to win.
Yeah. Well, but like, think about what that does. Okay, so like one of my favorite animes, it's called Shokugeki no Soma. It's about this dude who's a cook, a kid who's a cook, and becomes like a world-class cook. But his dad owned a small like restaurant, and the restaurant made up a new menu every day. It was like 6 items, new restaurant every day. And his dad challenged him to a one-on-one food duel every day. And like every single day for this kid's whole childhood, he lost to his dad 608 times by the time they made it to him as a teenager going into like the school where he learned. And then he got there and it was a competition cooking school, and he fucking kicked everyone's ass because he had been under pressure of competition and he lost to his dad 608
now he can beat
times.
Somebody.
And then so he got stoked and he was like, dude, I'm fucking sick. Like my dad beating me at everything because he was older, wiser, and more experienced and better, didn't go easy on me. Like turned me into this. Like I had a dad who didn't go super easy on me. And he did in some respects and he did didn't in other respects. But if he was so soft on me all the time in the sense of like winning and those kinds of things, then I would have undervalued what losing is and overvalued that I'm just a winner all the time. Like you gotta lose.
You gotta lose.
You're just gonna lose.
If you've only won, then have you really won?
No. Like what did you?
I don't think so.
No.
You gotta, because like looking back at all my playing sports, like the times I lost, I came back and won almost every time until we got to the point where I tore my ACL and there's nothing I can do in this game. It was over.
But you got to be like a Saiyan, right? Goku gets stronger after every defeat.
Like when I was wrestling, I lost 3 times.
Yeah.
And once first year lost to that person, the rest of the season I pinned everybody in like the first period.
You didn't want to feel it again.
Nobody.
Yeah.
You were getting pinned and quickly. This is over before I'm gonna shoot you. Like we're going like as soon as you're out of breath, we're done.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the 6th grade. I don't want to lose.
Right. And you're just it's good to have a hyper competitive. I think competition driven mentalities will do better than passive ones just in capitalism in our country alone. Yeah. But you need to have it, even if you're like me, you're more competitive than I am probably in some respects. Probably. I'm a pretty passive guy.
I try to compete in anything, and that goes back to mine and Chris's friendship.
But that's good. That's good. That is a better thing than my thing. And this is a passive person. I'm over here like I see your merits for competition. That works better because this is a competition driven country. If you're not in the mentality of like, how do I do better than my peers all the time, then what are you driving yourself for? Like you should be looking at all of your friends and all of your family.
Kind of like a chip on the shoulder type mentality.
Yeah, like, a little bit. But for yourself, don't put your ego in anyone else's area.
This isn't destiny type shit.
But you never speak it out loud to your friends, but you always keep it on your little chip on your shoulder. Like I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna compare myself to everyone else around me. And this is the competition of life. And let's go. You never judge your friends for it, but it is a subtle competition.
You do it.
You're trying to uplift, like we said, the rising tide lifts all ships, right? That means if Justin's doing super sick, I'm going to look at you and go, bro, like, I want that. That's a friend directly in my life. And I know you, I know who you are. And like friends don't say it out loud, but they go, well, my fucking Justin can fucking do it. I can fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's competition. You're driving yourself to literally do better by having friends who are successful. Like you get a successful friend. Like I see Scott and Mispa, like they got married, like they're out there, they're hustling, they're doing their own 2-job thing. Like, and I'm like, dude, me and Brittany can do better. Like I can do that. And I think I could do it a little better. Yeah. They're looking at us over here like Dean and Brittany have done the blah, 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 blah. I see what they can do. I think I could do that better.
Yeah, I want to travel here. I want to go there.
And it's out of no malice. It's not negative. No,
but it's just
it's human nature. But like I think we demonize that. And I think that's weird. Because we don't talk about it. I think this is one of the first times I've ever put that thought to light.
There was a huge push of divorces happening in the 90s.
Yeah.
Which led to more women getting their fair voice, which they should have had the whole time. But then anytime that happens, you have an outgate of flooding of a new population of a voice happening.
Yeah.
And whether it's just single parents or women or men, it's harder to do it alone. And when 50% of the population is now divorced, so that means like how much of that population only has one parent?
Yeah.
It's got to be more than 50. If 50% is divorced, not all were married to begin with.
Right.
And so like there's going to be an even larger population of that. And then women getting voices and being able to talk. It's like, oh, my son deserves a chance.
Yeah.
Even though he's not capable of being on the team. And if he were to, but it's a school thing. He gets to, okay. And then, well, we paid all this money.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, it's not everyone else's fault that you weren't savvy and you didn't put, like I know some kids like, but like you got to understand what you're investing in. You can't expect certain things. If I go to a game and Theo's not getting any playing time and it's a youth thing and it's like, okay, well this is where they learn. But like if it's like I'm paying $1,000 for his travel team and he's in the 8th grade, he's not getting playing time. Maybe he needs to go to a different team. Am I going to we just get to show up and get stuff? Like no, you got to earn it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, and then that's the thing too. What's it say? Like there should be, and ideally in like the way our society runs, if you are paying $1,000 for the league, right, as a parent, and the kid isn't performing, that puts more pressure on the kid to be like, hey, dude, why am I paying for your team? Do you really want to be here? Like, you got to play hard. You got 6 dudes ahead of you. You have to play harder than 3 of them.
I mean, and sometimes
that's competition.
In football or in like large team sports, it's really hard to stand out.
Of course.
And it takes a lot. For me, I mean, I've always had a good arm to play baseball a long time, and then like we were just warming up one day at practice, and I was like chucking spirals.
Yo. We're podcasting. Oh, fuck. It's okay. Like only like 8-9 more minutes.
And I was chucking spirals, and then next week in the offense, we started me throwing the ball, and like it was just by chance. It wasn't because of anything I did in practice. And so like sometimes in those team environments, it's hard to really to get that kid the playing time. And if I'm just a volunteer coach, Like, how many volunteer coaches are there? Like,
right.
It's difficult. That's what I'm saying. So for me, I would take the time to be my son's first coach, no matter what sport he's playing.
Right.
And then so like,
and he's gonna have that advantage too, because like if he has, do you see the inklings of competition? I guess it's hard to say for a 4-year-old. If he's competitive at all, just find ways to nurture that subtly and then turn it into sports. Well, or even if it's not sports, like I like the new wave of sports is coming. Like I sit next to a pro gamer every day, right?
He's not there yet. That's the thing. I don't know how to get his thumbs to move for his eyes.
He's not there yet. He's just 4.
I just like that's he's like just 4. I don't know how to explain like
he would rather
reach over and hit the button like this while he can still hold on to it.
I would recommend teaching him on the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
that's a better. Honestly, it's easier.
He's so it's just one of those things. Like I mean, like the dude just learned all 12 months.
Yeah, he's a kid. Like, he's a child. Like Riley. Okay, so Riley first started playing Counter-Strike when he was 6 years old.
Yeah, I think 5 and 6. I keep telling Brian it's the finger things.
Fine motor function.
You can see the development in the 6-year-old that she nannies for to these boys the whole time. Like he's able to like grab my hand and like twist it in a way that Theo could never do that with one of my fingers.
Right.
I could always like clench
because he's just a little kid. Yeah, he hasn't thought about it enough yet, and he's learning. He's doing it right now every day. He's gonna get 0.05% better to the point where he's fully formed like. This is how my fingers move. And this is how they can all move in.
What age does he start working out?
So that's the one, like, okay, my dad was a bodybuilder and he was heavily against us working out until we were like 14 or 15. Like working out, lifting weights. Cardio, you can do push-ups and cardio, absolutely. But he was recommended, heavily against weights.
That's what I was saying. I was like, no weights for a while.
I would say weights, honestly, you really like, if you really want to take it to the full science, like 20. 18 to 20, bro.
I know. I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people that I know that would take creatine or other workout supplements to get stronger when we were in high school, or even some of them that took steroids, they're still that big without being that same physique.
Right. Those things are terrible for you.
You can't get it off you.
No.
And so like
creatine is terrible for you.
Maybe that's just what they would have been anyway, and that's just their progression of life. And I'm just looking at a small scope, but a lot of people that took those things gained a lot of weight after high school.
Absolutely.
And I didn't, and
you didn't take them.
And my other buddy that didn't really take them, he didn't either.
So like that, there's your focus group. I mean, like that's it. Like, and I would tell anybody, like, just being a kid who went through a lot of body changes. Like I was 7.5 years old. I was super small kid, skinny as fuck, like happy, bright, and energetic and always willing to run around and like play sports like soccer and stuff like that. I enjoyed that. To 8 years old, when I started having really bad asthma attacks and they started loading me up with steroids at the hospital, like my asthma doctor was like, there's all these new trial asthma medications. In the 90s, they took a big look at asthma and they were like, we gotta, like, because air quality starts dropping, like there's a big problem with all these children being asthmatics. So I did all the new asthma drugs, and prednisone, the steroid for lung strength, which like over years and years of research, it's crazy they still give it to kids. Over years of research has proven not to really do anything for adult lung strength. So what's the fucking point? It doesn't really do anything for the kids in that moment, when a lot of what asthma is for kids is teaching them how to fucking relax. If they would have taught you a mentality versus loading me up with drugs, I wouldn't have had the massive, like, psychological repercussions, the picking on. This is when all the bullying started. This is when I got fat, dude. I was a huge fucking kid.
I'm a huge proponent of no drugs as long as possible.
Nope. Like aspirin, maybe, but no, let them tough through it. They're children.
To start taking vitamins, and I'm even against that because it's going to change what my body is producing.
I would heavily recommend the vitamins, though, and I'll send you the reasons why, and I'll give you some like thumbs up.
I know certain stuff like my body produces, and certain stuff it doesn't, and the stuff should just be expelled. But I don't want to stop producing. So. And now I'm relying on this vitamin forever. But when I don't get X and Y.
A lot of the vitamins that they put in multivitamins are vitamins we used to get out of our diet before processed food became a big thing in America. And when you really start breaking down what processed food you eat, like all your food's processed food and doesn't contain nearly the amount of like zinc, vitamin D, vitamin A, omega-3s, and like things that you should be getting out of your diet.
That goes back to me not eating breakfast and then trying to take it on an empty stomach.
And you felt sick?
Yeah.
Take it before you go to bed.
Yeah, but then is it really in my system or isn't it out every 12 hours? Isn't it like a 12 hours?
It's a myth
hours?
That your body doesn't do anything while you're sleeping.
Like, I know.
Digest.
I'm missing like the peak vitamin like feeling.
Oh, there's no feeling.
There is though. Like
you're placeboing yourself then, because all the vitamins doing is regulating.
I personally feel like stronger on taking my medicine, but like it's going to work the 12 hours overnight.
It's all the same.
And it's not.
It is.
As it goes from hour 1 to hour 24, there's different times where it has different effects on the body as it goes through the different parts of your system.
That's wrong. I'm 100% sure that's wrong. It's about regulating your body's chemical structure over the long haul. Your body's chemical structure and pH stays the same.
One a day, it's a 24-hour pill, and it should be the same.
You're thinking of vitamins as like a time release thing that give you power for one day, and the next day you don't have it. That's the flaw you're making about vitamins. Maybe that you're thinking about vitamins wrong, because I can see you're thinking about them like they're aspirin. And aspirin works for an 8-hour window, and it's not aspirin. Okay, it's not. This is your body's regulatory.
If I just take one now, it would still benefit me
for 3 days.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like it's a long-term thing. Like it's not just like I have zinc for 6 hours. My zinc is low. That's how no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I just assumed it would just go back.
This is like a regulatory
12 to 24 hours. Now I'm back down to.
This is a regulatory process you want to put your body in to be able to keep these nutrients inside of yourself all the time, because your body stores them.
Then I am doing this the rest of my life. He's taking this one a day.
Should be.
Regardless. But then I feel owned by this company. Like I have to buy.
It's not a company. The company's reaping the benefit. Yeah. But this isn't heroin, Justin. It's just vitamins.
Every month I gotta go back.
It's just vitamins, bro.
And then I'm spending at CVS. Now I gotta get their card. Now they gotta ask me.
It's a small price to pay.
I don't want the rewards card.
It's a small price to pay for regulatory minerals inside of your body that your body needs to promote cognitive function.
I'm sure the $12 payoff is worth it.
Absolutely.
Whatever, $25.
It's I think for selenium
or whatever.
It's not even. The 360 tablets, which is 1 year, is like $25. One tablet a day. $25 for less than 3 cents a day, Justin. You could help a poor boy from Westland feel better. But
yeah, it's funny. We're getting close to the
end. Dude, we haven't podcasted. I think this might be this is like a 15 day stretcher.
Yeah, there's some stuff. Life happens.
Sure
everyone can relate. But I'm excited to get back to it, and episode 21 is in the books.
Yeah, dude, good shit. Episode 21, 2021.
21.
Is it a conspiracy? Yeah. All right, guys. Take it easy.
See ya.